NAO show. I'm the Prince, and that's Marky Mark. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing all right. Sorry that Tank Top couldn't be with us tonight after all the chat you guys had today, but we'll try to carry on the conversation.
Yeah, we'll get through. Obviously, we would much rather have Mark and Tank Top Mike on the show. I don't know if anybody really cares if I'm on the show, but I'm here. Live with it. Suck it up. We're gonna do this. We're gonna have fun doing it.
Yes, sir.
But I gotta start the show with one thing.
All right, let's hear it.
Don't take this personally, but I hope you fucking go down in a pile of flames. And it hurts me to say that. Hurts me to say that.
Well, karma's a bitch. I wish you the best. I hope that you win by a lot of points.
No.
Uh, well, I get it, man. I get it. We're in it to win it, as they say. So I get it.
That's right.
Certainly get it.
All right, let's get into this freaking red hot show.
All right. Well, we open with trades, and did we really not have any trades the week heading up to the deadline, dude? I know we talked about it like forever, so I'm like, okay, let me see what the trades were, man. I was getting the show sheet ready, and I was like, holy shit, the last trade we had was that really weird trade where Dalvin Cook went for a 5th rounder. That was last week's show, man.
Yeah, that was on last week's show.
Yeah. I can't believe it. Now I was trying, but I wasn't waiting until the last week. I was like the week before. I was like, okay, deadline in 2 weeks. I'm gonna start working on this shit now in case it goes through to the next games. And I just couldn't get anything done. And believe it or not, you guys say what you want about FNG, but he and I had some back and forth and actually negotiated on a trade. Just couldn't get it done, man. Couldn't get it done.
Yeah, it's because you're able to go on the like work teams and message him directly, and he has to look at it because it may be actually work oriented. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I may or may not have used work resources to contact him initially. It is funny because if you don't hide the chat, it holds it, and you can go back and look. And every time every time I come by his, when I'm scrolling down looking for one, I see where it's still fantasy talk. And he was really cool about it. He went to DMs in Sleeper. So I did the initial opening, and then he went to DM Sleeper. I was like, okay, that's cool. We shouldn't be doing this on work resources, But now every time I scroll by his name, I see that thing. Yo, dude, how about let's talk some trades, And I keep seeing that. I'm like, man, we got to talk a little bit in case anybody else sees that. Anybody looking over my shoulder, what trades you talking about here, But yeah, I tried with him, and full disclosure, I talked to Goofy too, and yeah, just couldn't get either one going, man. Had some talks with both of them, but the one with Goofy ended a little quicker, and the one with FNG, man, it went a few rounds, and we just couldn't quite get there. So I was trying. Did you have anything going? Were you trying to get something going that last week?
I tried. I mean, after picking up Dobbs for quarterback depth, I didn't have much else to play with, to be honest with you. Like everyone knows, I'm historically out on draft picks right now because I'm going all in on trying to make the fucking playoffs.
Right.
Which is not how I fucking planned it. We'll get into that a little later in the show, but yeah, once I made that trade for Dobbs, I didn't want to make that trade, but I had to make that trade because what if Love went down?
Right.
Like right. I literally would have nobody.
Yeah.
Going all in, but like you need to have a backup plan,
Yeah, no, I know it. I wish Dobbs was looking a little bit better. It was a disappointing game last week here, but
the savior is on his way. I'll just say that. The savior is on his way.
And who would that be?
He's open down there somewhere. That is Justin
Oh,
Jefferson.
okay. Yeah, but yeah, okay. Yeah, they waited till they go on by to finally activate him and get his practice window going. So yeah, maybe he'll be back there. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what they do there. I mean, I got Addison, and his stock has gone down since Cousins went down. So I'm kind of feeling it too, even though he's not a JJ, but he was solid, man. He was getting me good
Yeah,
points, you know. So, but at least Love is playing better. I've told you I've been up and down on him, but I've been a little more up. He's playing better, man. He's showing some signs. So yeah, he could be peaking at the right time for you if
let's
that's
go.
what you
Let's
need,
hope.
Yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. So no trades, man. So I guess we'll just go on to our scores and run those down and do our thing. So
Alrighty.
we're going to start out with the man who got top honors. That'd be A-Bomb, 181. DB's 165. So yeah, he takes home the top honors with the second win of the season over the DBs. Crazy.
What's crazy is that the DBs scored 164 points and lost. Like,
Yeah,
uh, if you're gonna beat the DBs, you got to score freaking high points. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
And
Because I scored 160 something against them and lost. So
exactly, this is what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, yeah,
freaking Lamar had a down week. Gibbs didn't break 10 points, and that's what did it for him. And Puka Nakua had less than 5 points. I mean, we
yeah.
could keep talking a different game if Puka Nakua has his 20-point game, like
Right,
it'd be
right.
super close. So
I mean, and it was Arizona. Their eyes had to be big putting him in the lineup, right? It was against
don't even,
Arizona.
I mean, like, yeah, like
I
they
guess,
weren't the only ones with big eyes when they saw Arizona
yeah.
with the Rams. So
I think what
I
killed
can't
him
think
is
about
that
me, but
Arizona's so bad against the run that they didn't really need to pass a whole lot. So I think
yeah,
that's kind of what hurt him. And I mean, you get 21 from your defense there in Miami, and you're like, yeah, man. When you get that, a lot of times you've got the win because that's an unexpected. That's definitely like having an extra player on your
yeah,
roster when you get that many points out of your defense.
like an extra 12 points that you didn't even expect.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But A-Bomb had one of his days.
Freaking Josh Allen came out absolutely in fuego.
Yeah.
39 points. Golly.
How happy do you think A-Bomb was when they went to overtime?
God, I bet he is freaking super hot. Like, no.
Bet he was doing a little touchdown dance right there in the house, man.
He's like, oh, overtime. We can do some little overtime.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he had a big day. And one guy that you think could go off, Adams didn't, but other guys made up for it, man. Evans had a big day, and even Najee Harris putting up 15, 16, almost 16 points was a little better than what he's been doing too. So yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much everybody delivered for him, and that Ridley thing's interesting. They've been talking about how he's been better when Zay Jones was in there because Zay Jones is a field stretcher, but when Ridley was in there and to face some press coverage, just not as good. Kind of have to wonder if Ridley's dropping off a little bit. Um, but when Zay's in there, then he has a little bit easier time getting open. So
right.
big game for
He's
him. So
he's a guy that made his headway in press coverage. Like when he first came into the league, there wasn't a DB that couldn't freaking they couldn't even stick with him, let
yeah,
alone guard him. And
yeah,
now he's older, obviously, and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
missed some time,
Miss
obviously.
some time. Yeah,
So if he's 1-on-1, he's still gonna beat you. Like, but if he's like 1-on-2, he can't beat that double team anymore like he used to. So I get it. Makes sense.
yeah. And they
One,
had to respect
he's still freaking what
Jones.
6'4" or something, 6'1", but he plays huge. So
Which one you talking about? Because we were both talking at the same time there. Which
uh,
who's
Ridley
Ridley?
6'1".
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
talk about Ridley.
yeah. No, he may have lost a little bit there, and he needs a little help. And I guess maybe the point there is maybe he was better with Julio Jones too. I don't know. He had some good games, though, it seemed like when Jones was out.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of wondering about him, wonder what the future, what the future brings for him, and if he's going to be able to get back to that top notch, or if he is what he's going to be right now, and he kind of needs a field stretcher there to help him out. So, but hey, had a good game for A-Bomb this week. That's all
Yeah,
that counts for this week.
I think something that could be taken into consideration when talking about Ridley is that, like, a lot of these guys that are 28 years old, which is how old Ridley is, has been playing for all of that. Like, he has 6 years experience, but he hasn't been playing for all that. He doesn't have the hits on his body. You would think his body is fresher at a 28-year-old body, but
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
speed isn't something that you can protect. Like, you can't do things to keep your speed up. Like, it's gonna fall off sooner or later.
Yeah, yeah,
His hands obviously are still Ridley hands. Like,
yeah, yeah. Now, from what I've seen, he just hasn't been getting the separation consistently this year, and it's funny. It's not an original idea. I've heard people talk about this. The splits without Jones are really
yeah,
bad, and with Jones are really good. So it
yeah.
seems like that's his key to success. So A-Bomb better light a candle for Zay Jones that he stays healthy, and that arrest doesn't get him booted out of the league or something crazy like that.
Well, I hope Zay Jones has to leave football for something very, very simple and just can't play. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
maybe he gambles something and gets caught. I don't know. I'll take
Yeah,
anything right now.
Ridley can teach him something about that too. So,
Wouldn't that be a kick in the head?
got some action for you, man. All right, let's move on to our next score. We've got Dr. Donkey and the Dumbass 155, the Prince 124. So my prediction that they wouldn't go winless couldn't have come at a worse time for you, Primo Mio. my my cousin, my beloved cousin. Man, that was a tough one. That was a tough loss for you.
You know what? Like, I was thinking about what I'm gonna say about this, and obviously there was Humpty was talking about it in the chat and everything. I never once thought I was gonna like talk shit about them because I mean, this is fantasy football. Like, you never know what's gonna happen. That's why we didn't give the DBs the fucking championship in the off season when we all thought they were the clear cut favorite. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
fantastic output for them. I think this is like the highest score they've had in probably years. I haven't went back and looked. I'm sure Ian Pukru right now is looking back at all their matchups and finding out if I'm wrong or right.
Yeah.
He won't say anything if I'm right. He'll say something if I'm wrong. But I mean, like, I'm just. I had a good week. I had a good down week. Like, I had a down week because there's guys that didn't do anything for me. Like Cup, he had 3 points. Sutton, he finally didn't get a touchdown, Mr. Touchdown Automatic. And
Yeah.
Mixon only
Yeah.
had 7 points in a game when we all thought Mixon was going to see a lot of freaking usage. He only got 8 carries in a very, very slow game. Like, that was a very
Yeah.
slow game. They didn't have very many offensive plays. Before this week, Cincinnati was like one of the top teams in offensive plays. They're running a lot of plays and a
Yeah.
lot of opportunities. And last week against Atlanta, that they just didn't. Against Pittsburgh, I mean, they didn't really have it. But I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Dr. Donkey and the Poo Crew, not Poo Crew, but fucking professor over there. So
Don't call him professor. He asked why he changed from the professor. And I'm like, dude, you like alliteration so much. I had to come up with something and went with Dr. Donkey because that was gonna stick, you know.
yeah, Dr.
We
Donkey is the thing. That
Yeah,
is
that one stuck. So we had to give something that with a D. So um could have come up with some more
you know
crude
what?
names that start with a D, but we gave him dumbass. So
I'm watching the I'm not watching the Rams game, but I'm like watching the play by play for the Rams. And
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
like, what the heck is going on here? And all I see is Williams for this, Williams for that, Williams for a touchdown, Williams for this. I was like, did AK like tell Williams like, yo, you need to do it this way, and like automatically just turn into Alvin Kamara? Like, what the heck?
Yeah. I mean,
35
dude,
points.
well, and it was still only 22 touches total, but damn, he made the most of those, didn't he? I
He was
mean,
a wide receiver. He had 6 catches for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns.
yeah, and they did the mercy sit and put in freaking Royce Freeman, and he had a day. I was like, shit, if I'd have known this was gonna happen, could have put Royce Freeman in. I have him on my bench. But Freeman had 77 yards on 11 carries. That's just how bad they were. So what was that?
I
16,
mean,
11, that'd be
on
27
rushing,
carries for like 220 yards roughly. I think I
yeah,
got the math right there. I
60,
mean,
143 yards on the ground, 61 yards in the air.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, Arizona couldn't stop a freaking cold, like
yeah,
paper
yeah.
bag blown in the wind would have ran through them.
Yeah, yeah. That was big. That definitely carried the day for him. But Stroud had a big game too there.
Yeah.
And that was
He looked red hot, man. Absolutely red hot.
yeah. And then Collins paired up with him too for a touchdown and he went for buck 04. So yeah, even with some of their down, like with Shaheed and Schultz not performing so well, everybody else just did, man. Rice finally kind of had a breakout game. Rushy Rice,
So
you know.
so I watch New Heights podcast every Wednesday, and
Okay.
I just watched it today, and Travis Kelsey is saying that Rice is coming on. Like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
starting to freaking really shine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the numbers were looking good for him. I think he still has some things to learn, but what I think they're doing is using his strengths, and they're giving him opportunities with things he does well. There's still some routes and different things that he needs to work on, but he does some things really well, and it seems like they're putting him in those, giving those opportunities to him, you
That's
know.
classic Andy Reid.
So yeah, but that speaks well though. If he, I mean, uh, this is one man's opinion
Yeah.
that he still needs a little bit of work to get to more of an elite level. But imagine if he can do this now and improve on some of those things. Imagine what he could be down the line. So
Yeah.
they may have a good one in Rice. And I had said something I know weeks back about Rice, thinking that he was getting close. Just watching the numbers and seeing what he was doing. So I wasn't surprised to see that coming out of him. And it's good. I mean, because I think people with anybody from Kansas City except Kelsey and Mahomes, it just drives them crazy. You know, everybody's been trying to get that guy that's going to
Well,
be the guy.
Puka Nakua, not Puka Nakua, but nah, it's freaking left my brain
You
completely.
talking about Sky
Uh,
Moore or
Pacheco.
Pacheco? Pacheco.
He's a clear start every week too. So
Yeah, no, he's been good as well. Yeah, they finally got away from the rotation, and although they did give Allaire a few shots at getting a touchdown. From what I could see, he had a touchdown. They didn't call it a touchdown. Kansas City didn't challenge it, but if they did, Allaire would have had a touchdown. So Pacheco got one on that, but um, neither here nor there. But yeah, it's like we've been waiting for somebody from Kansas City besides Kelsey to rise up, and it looks like Rushy may be there finally. So really, really good week for them, though.
I think Hubbard was the biggest surprise. Like, I mean, Williams was a surprise. I mean, anybody that drops 35 points is a surprise. No one banks on 35 points a game, but Hubbard freaking coming out of the woodwork and dropping 17 on me. That's
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, earlier in the year, Tennessee was not a good matchup for running backs, and then for whatever reason, they've fallen off. I guess these Tennessee fans could tell us better, but yeah, that was to me early in the season that was a matchup to avoid, and then all of a sudden you want that matchup. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they lost a key guy or something. I'm really not sure, but it hasn't been as good as it was early in the season.
Yeah, I mean the pieces that this team is putting together are finally coming to fruition. I hate that it had to
Yeah,
happen against me, but it is what it is. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
yeah.
That's fantasy football.
No, that was another. I told Landon today, chatting with him about our roster in another league that we don't talk about, but I was telling him that I said if you have the patience to go back and listen to the previous shows, you'll find one where I said I liked your roster, that you had some good young folks on there that I thought were going to do well. And yeah, you're right. It did kind of come together on the worst week possible for you. So
Well, the poop cake hit me right square in the kisser, so it is what it is. Let's go on to the next one.
all right, man. All right. Hey, you're a trooper for talking about it that long, man. Good job.
Give
All
credit
right,
where credit's due.
there you go. All right, we'll go on to our next score. We've got the Poo Crew 130, Tank Top Mike 87. He Mike never had much of a chance in this one, and a lot of his guys that are, capable of big days just didn't have them.
Yeah.
And even if you look at his defense, he may have been lucky to escape with just a goose egg from his defense, as bad as they played on Thanksgiving Day. So yeah, kind of he didn't have another big week in him like he did against the DBs there.
I mean, yeah, he had a down week, obviously. Like, uh, Pukru just did what he needed to do. He just set the lineup and he got what he expected. Nothing exploded off the paper for me personally. Uh, but yeah, I saw this thing before Thanksgiving, and it was something ridiculous, and it's probably completely fake, but it was funny. It said like the Lions on Thanksgiving are like 0-23 when the moon is like in this
Oh yeah, I saw
particular
that.
particular
Yeah,
thing, and I was like, that's hilarious. Yo, that
and you're
totally.
just like, do these folks not have a life? I mean,
You know, have
really?
you heard the term like LeBron stat?
No,
So
I don't
LeBron
follow
stats
basketball
are
much,
these
so.
stats that are like so particular that it's like not even a stat. Like in games that end after 9:30, so and so scores XY points because it's at
Oh, geez.
that sort of
Yeah.
thing. That is kind of what that was. Like kind of like a
I
LeBron.
remember I remember hearing it and thinking, boy, that's just ridiculous. And then look
That's
what
ridiculous.
happened.
They're just ridiculous stats.
But I
So
mean, they've been bad for so long that, you could probably find a dozen of those kind of stats because they've really just been bad.
they're so
So
good this year, though. They're really good this year.
no, I know that was really disappointing. That the game went the way it did. I thought I didn't think that the two later games would be very close, with San Francisco, Dallas going up against Seattle and Washington, respectively. I thought, this could be the best game. And a lot of times I'm cooking during that time and I have it on, but I'm not paying a lot of attention. But, this was the year where I thought this could be the best game, and it really disappointed, unfortunately. So, but it was, if you got love, if you had love going, then, you might have been a little happy with it.
I was happy.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good. So I'm more optimistic about Love than I have been in the past. But yeah, not much going for Mike. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
DJ Moore on Mike's side looked really good. 11 for 13, 114 yards.
Yeah, yeah. No touchdowns and still put up 17 points. So yeah, that was a good. I think it's been better there for him than it has been in Carolina. I hope he's happier with his usage there anyway, and maybe they can get things together. You look at next year in the draft, and those two first round picks, and if they're smart, they trade one for a haul, and unless they want to move on from Fields, but yeah, Chicago could really be a team to reckon with, and I think Moore is probably happy there. I'm glad to see him get somewhere where they're giving him more usage anyway.
So what if game? I'm just throwing this came into my head, so it's obviously a good idea.
Of course.
So if they're not a good if they're not high on Fields, they trade Fields before the draft.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to get a first round pick for Fields, right?
Yeah.
If they get a top first round pick and they go out and get a top wide receiver, top quarterback, and whatever they need, they would have 3 first round picks. Talk about overhaul, right?
Yeah. Yeah. True. I don't know if they could get a first rounder for Fields. I think
Really?
maybe, maybe that's a crapshoot because if they're wanting to trade him, then that means they're probably going after Williams or Caleb Williams or Drake May. And so why do I want to pay you a lot when you're going to get your quarterback,
Okay.
and
Example.
you're moving on from him. You're moving on
Actual
from your first
example.
rounder.
Actual example. Brett Favre, drafted by Atlanta Falcons in the second round, sucks his first year. Green Bay comes out and spends a first round draft pick on him, and look where he is now.
Did they? I don't remember that, but I'll take
Look
your
it up.
word for
Look it
it.
up.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. But yeah, that's because I didn't think Favre would be worth a first rounder back then either. But
I'm just
hey, we'll
saying.
we'll see. We'll see.
Not unprecedented.
They can get something for him. It's not like they won't get anything for him, but because yeah, they may not let him go if they can't get the right price. But yeah, that's going to be really interesting in off season. That's one of those storylines we're looking forward to for sure.
So looking over here on the Puku side, Herbert had a down day, but Taylor came back with a vengeance at 21, so it kind of made up the difference. But everything else seems pretty normal for their normal day. Maybe ETN's a little lower at 10 points in a game. He's usually right there around 13, 14 points, I bet. Kelsey got his 91 yards. He hit over 10 points. That's always good. Barkley, he had a Giants kind of game, so obviously that was not great, less than ideal. But I mean, everything over here on Puku's side is pretty straightforward in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean he's been putting up more points than that, so it's not too bad when you can still put up 130 and you have a few down days by some guys. So
Yeah.
he's got that's he had plenty of firepower in there for sure. So got it done on a down day for Tank Top. All right, we'll move on to the next one here. We've got the Johnsons 117, Silly Dilly 96. I figured it out today that I'm this year's Steelers because I keep on winning in a very unimpressive fashion. I'm hopeful that my change at offensive coordinator will give me a late season boost like it did the Steelers last week.
You're like a stage 5 clinger that doesn't know when to go the fuck home.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
You know
definitely.
what? I think you owe me a beer for this win because obviously Dilly last week put all of his chips and voodoo dolls in on me to get the W
Yeah.
and spent all of his stuff for that and came in and didn't have anything for you. So
Yeah,
I think you
yeah.
owe me a beer.
He had some tough matchups there with Howell and Robinson going up against the Cowboys. I kind of knew that could, and I had to say Howell did probably better than I thought he might. Probably just a matter that he had to just keep on slinging the ball, threw it 44 times, and
Yeah.
had to keep on going with it.
He
And of
had
course, that took
300
Robinson.
yards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but that the score was so lopsided. It was some garbage time stuff.
Oh,
And
hey,
so,
no
hey,
points.
still, hey, that's some garbage time is some of my favorite time, man, because it's like the three quarters sucks, and then in the fourth quarter, you're like, okay, this is where I shine, when I got a
Now
player
that's
like Howell.
garbage time.
Yeah, yeah. So I knew that I kind of felt like that was going to be tough for him there. Warren had a little bit of a down day, had that fumble, and I don't know if that reduced his touches or not. I mean, he's still had 16 touches in the game, but As good as he has been. You traded me for him here in the other league, and as good as he's been, that was a down day for him. But
Yeah, definitely.
good to
I think
see Myers.
the biggest shock on his lineup right now is Thielen kind of fell off the face of the earth. Like he was
Yeah,
getting elite targets, and now he's getting 3 targets a game. Like
yeah.
since they fired their offensive coordinator too, right?
They fired a bunch.
Coach
This
everybody.
week they fired the head coach, and then the interim coach came in and fired the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator. He's like, "Yeah, bitches, they chose me. You're out." So like,
On the
that was a
big
weird.
giggling now, you're all fired.
It's such an unfortunate thing since Tepper bought that team and took over from Richardson. He's running it into the ground, and it's a shame because that's my second team because I see them every week. They're on TV, and it's getting to where if I have the Carolina game on, I'm doing something else where it's on in the background, and I'm just like checking in now and then. And it's a shame. He's just ruined the damn franchise. And yeah, Thielen, man, against Tennessee. Tennessee's been giving up a whole lot. In the passing game.
Whoa, whoa,
Maybe
whoa.
that
Some of
maybe
our
that.
viewers are Tennessee fans. We don't want
Well,
to
no, I know. Hey,
the bees.
facts, just the facts, ma'am. I mean, the facts is the facts. They've been a good matchup for passing, but maybe because they're falling off in the running game, maybe more teams are just running the ball more against them now. Not a bad idea for Carolina, who can't do much else, so they may as well try to control the clock and run the ball a bit. But yeah, Thielen. I did watch some of the game, and he just wasn't. The times he did go to him, it was contested.
Hmm.
So he was lucky to get that one for the 2 yards. I remember that one, just a little comeback route trying to get a first down, and he he got the ball and got wiped out immediately. So yeah, that was his one reception of the game. So
I mean, so I think this is a down day for Silly Dilly. I think he has better days ahead.
yeah,
Uh, Obviously, he's going to be in the bottom four this year and making run for whoever has his pick. The DBs will be rooting you on
do
every
that. Do
week.
they have his 24 pick? I know they got his 25 pick.
Wait, I thought he
Yeah,
had
take a
a
look.
pick.
They
Let's
might. They've got a
let's
bunch of
go
his
through
pick.
it. Let's
They
make
have a
sure
bunch of his picks, man.
we want to be accurate in this in the NAO show. We
Right,
speak
right.
nothing but truth. They have the 24 pick
They
for
have the 24
Silly
pick.
Dilly.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
no one will be rooting for Silly Dilly more than the DBs.
That's why they're being so nice to him.
They may be back channeling, be like, "Yo, you should probably start this guy," like,
Yeah, yeah,
or
could
don't
be
start that guy, or something.
little home cooking going on there.
All good fun, all in good fun. What do
Yeah.
we think about your team over here? How you
Yeah,
feel?
not a great day for me. I know Williams went out with an injury and came back. Hall just couldn't get anything going, and now he's got a hamstring issue. And I don't know if that was going on during the game. Even IU kind of needed a late touchdown to get me much going there. It was more of a Debo day. So I needed guys like Brandon Cooks, and Waddle finally had a decent game, and Cowboys defense, those guys kind of made up for some of the others that didn't do well.
That trade
Freaking,
with Goofy has saved you a few games this year.
it has. It wasn't great in this one. I mean, Addison had 10 targets, 6 receptions for 39 yards, and that he did not have a good game. He had a drop that led to an interception.
Yeah,
There was another drop that he had eight. For whatever reason, he was just not good in that game. I don't know what it was, man. He's looked a lot better and a lot more polished in, in games against better competition than this one here. I don't know if Jalen Johnson was on him a lot or not. I haven't looked back to see exactly what was going on with the coverage, but if that Jalen Johnson's a really good guy. kind of come out of nowhere here. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if he was covering Addison, I think Addison maybe was just getting a little flustered because he was having trouble getting open. And that's what killed me. The drops that he had, he was open. It's like you finally get open and you're going to drop. Maybe he was hearing footsteps. I don't know, or looking for the guy. Yeah, he's been all over me the whole game. So, yeah, not a great game for him. And of course, Dobbs wasn't good either. So, but that one interception was all on Addison. It wasn't on Dobbs at all. So.
Well, I do have in my give credit where credit is due. I need to give you some credit. Brandon Ayuk, he's number 11 overall. Where's
Yeah.
Debo?
Yeah.
Where's Debo? I mean, Debo's
Well,
still a good year, but he's not
yeah, no.
11.
Yeah. And it's apples and oranges because Debo is more of a offensive weapon guy. He rushes the ball a lot and he gets his yards in different ways. Ayuk is just really he's a true I think wide receiver one, good separator, good route runner, and that kind of thing. What are you laughing about?
I'm just laughing at the fact that you just called Debo not a true wide receiver and that like he gets all his points from rushing. Let's go to the stats and see how much rushing he does. He does have 4 attempts. The max he's ever had in a game is 5 this year.
Yeah,
5 rushing attempts. But I mean,
yeah.
Holy shit, I am shocked. This is the first time I'm looking at his numbers this year, and his targets for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games are less than 5.
Yeah, yeah,
Less than 5.
yeah,
Holy camoly! What are they doing?
yeah. Well, they're running the ball a lot and passing. They're doing very I don't know, precise kind of. Their passing game is kind of a precise game where they're doing it at certain times when they have to. And Debo's had the injury issues as well. So I don't think it's a big stretch to say Ayuk could be the number one guy there just because he is a true receiver and he's got a good rapport with Purdy now. So.
Well, I think that does have a lot to say with it, but I hate giving credit to Pukru, but like the 49ers, I mean, obviously they have a world class, absolutely world class running back in CMC. Like the last person that was anywhere close to CMC was maybe Adrian Peterson in his heyday, maybe. I don't know. Like very rare.
Somebody like LaDainian Tomlinson,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a rare occasion to get somebody that is productive on all 3 downs like that.
I think Debo has it in him to be a fantastic wide receiver. He's just not this gadget guy that freaking can run and freaking catch. Like Debo, like 2 years ago, carried the whole freaking team when Jimmy G was there to the freaking championship game. Like, I think they're underutilizing Debo, and I hate to say it because of who owns Debo in this league, but I think they're completely underutilizing him. That's the first time I looked at his stats this year, and it's a shock. It's an absolute shock.
Yeah. Well, he plays with such abandon that they almost have to save him from himself, I think, and try to use him in key situations. And if they were feeding him like they were that year that he had such a good year, that was like the one year that he stayed healthy the whole time,
Yeah.
And you can see he's already missed, a good amount of time this year. And he's just it's because he doesn't know how to play halfway. He's a yak guy. He's fighting for every yard, and those are the kind of guys that end up getting injured.
Tyler Lockett figured it out. You know what I mean? He was that guy that would just be like awesome for 3 weeks and then drop off the face of the earth because he got hurt. But like, go talk to Tyler Lockett. He gets down. He's like, "Oh, guys are coming down for me. I'll slide like a fucking quarterback." Like.
He goes down more than your sister. Oh wait, that's my cousin. That's my cousin. Scratch that. Scratch it. We'll edit that out. We'll edit that out. And you're like, you got to do the Joey. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Which sister?
Whoa, sister.
Which sister, man?
excused on that one, but
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's not have the family watch this one.
moving on.
Very good, very good. Someone needed to say it. All right, last score we got here is FNG 106, Goofy JZ 102. We had a barn burner at the bottom. That's for you, Landon, dumbass. So I said this could be a preview of the battle for the 101, and in that aspect, it didn't disappoint. But
Yo, 4 points? 4 points?
4 points, man. It was a close one. It was a close one.
God, that's like what? Freaking 8 catches overall? Like, holy moly. What? Hurts carried the team with 34 points.
Yeah, somebody
Absolutely
else happy
carried
for
them.
overtime, but it just didn't quite get enough for him. Yeah, I got that. He got the winning touchdown.
Pat
Yeah,
Fryermuth carried the team at tight end
yeah,
with
yeah.
16 points.
I was so
And
happy he
that's it.
got. I was
Everybody
so
else
happy.
sucked.
No, I know. I was happy he got Fryermuth back because he lost Waller like right away. And I never did like that trade when he got Waller because I just felt like, man, you're buying an old guy that's starting to get injured, you know. And I hated that he lost him because you remember the hype from Giants camp.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like, we had to take Waller out so that Jones will target somebody else. And then the first game, Waller goes off, you know, and wasn't much later that he got hurt, and he's just not there anymore. So glad to see you got Fryermuth back in there.
Freaking over here on FNG side, uh, Amari Cooper, we all knew that he was going to have a rough day because they have their backup in the backup playing now. Like, who the
Yeah,
hell
and he
knew?
got hurt in the game too. He took a shot in the ribs.
Yeah.
They
What's that,
say
like 2 weeks ago, right?
no, it was this past game. I don't think it was 2 weeks ago. I think it was this game. They did say the X-rays were negative. It's just a deep bruise, but it's very painful, especially for a receiver who's got to raise his arms, move his arms around,
Or, I
hand
mean,
fighting, stuff like that, you know.
just breathing is hard.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, other than that, Stevenson was the negative two from the Cardinals. Sucks. And still got the W by 4 points. Golly.
Man. Somebody else try. Oh, well, yeah, he started the wrong defense and almost cost them the game. Man, if he puts New England in there, he's got a 14-point swing, and we're not talking about a close one anymore. So, yeah, gosh, what made them think starting the Cardinals was going to be a good idea?
Against the
Sorry,
Rams?
sorry, FNG, but man, Cardinals is not a good start anytime. Dude, you need to drop them. Pick up anybody else that's out there. If
Well,
the,
a
you know,
bright spot on this lineup this week was Tank Dell, rookie. He was drafted in where was he drafted in our? He was drafted in the 4th round.
wow, good for
Late
him, man.
late in the 4th round. Tank Dell
Good for
out here
him.
getting freaking what? 8 freaking targets? Golly.
The craziest
Houston.
thing about
Houston is good.
Dell is that he's as small as he is, and he's actually doing most of his damage lining up outside. You would think that he's the typical slot guy, but he's doing most of his damage outside. And he had one called back. He had a 60-yard catch called back for he went in motion and he turned up early, so they called it illegal motion, I guess, or illegal shift or something like that. But dude, he runs a route down the middle of the field 1-on-1, and he went up and got the ball. It was a big time contested catch, underthrown a little bit, and little dude went up and got the ball. That
All right,
guy,
so this little dude on the outside thing that they can't be outside wide receivers is kind of debunked. I mean, like
it's getting there.
Devontae
It's getting
Smith
there.
is getting that. Like he is 100% outside wide receiver that can be small. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Steve Smith, he was a small outside wide receiver that was absolutely a game changer. So
Well, I mean, a lot of times they're facing press coverage against one of their better corners. And so that's why a lot of times it doesn't work out so well for them. But these guys are some of these guys are just getting better at route running and they're a little shiftier now, and they're able to beat press coverage by not allowing themselves to get fully engaged, you know. They're able to run their routes and make jukes and moves so that they can't get into them fully, and they're able to get just a little bit of separation out of it, you know.
Right.
So it's not, you know, it's not an easy thing at that size, but he's definitely he's good. The guy's good. I wish I'd have gotten him in at least one league, but that size threw me off, and coming from Houston, I wasn't sure, but man, he's legit. That guy's legit. Carrying the questionable tag right now, unfortunately, but I think he's got a calf injury going on right now. So yeah, FNG got him one this week, and Goofy's definitely down there where he wanted to be when he decided to sell me a couple of guys and go in the tank. So
He's got his pick, so all he's got to do is be good in the playoffs for the number 1 pick, and that's all he's got to do.
well, that brings us to the Mr. Miyagi ass waxing of the week.
Not me.
Maybe good that Tank Top's not here because it does go to none other than Tank Top Mike. Still, I got a little he's busy and he couldn't make it today, of course. So I was lucky to get a statement from him. He said, I got the Miyagi and I'm in 6th place and still only 1 game out of the playoffs. It's on, bitches.
Suck it, fools.
So yeah, he took it in stride. It's not letting
Yeah.
it. It's not going to let it slow him down any. Yeah,
Classic tank top.
that's right.
All right, let's go to the standings. I know that's what everyone is tuning into this week.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a change at 1, and I 145% blame Tank Top for not winning the game and allowing Poo Crew to get the W and move up into 1st place. But I also freaking blame A-Bomb for beating the DBs and allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
This
So
is an absolute travesty.
Buku with 3 wins in a row, and oddly enough, DBs with 2 losses in a row, both with high scores. It's not like they didn't do their normal thing, you know. They just caught 2 buzzsaws 2 weeks in a row.
And so 1, Poo Crew. 2, the DBs. That's the change from last week. That's what everyone was worried about. No one cares. Oh, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this. So, me, the prince, I am 8-4. I'm in 3rd place. Marky Mark, the Johnsons is 8-4. He's in 4th place. Let's go to the points, shall we? I have 1,389 points. The Johnsons have 1,247 points.
Yeah.
So I feel okay with that being the points difference, but there's a freaking demon in the rough over here that has a lot more points than we do. So moving down into 5th place, A-Bomb thought it was time to start playing fucking fantasy football and getting some W's. Classic November for A-Bomb over here. He's 7-5, moving up from the 6th spot to the 5th spot. Let's go to the points. It's 1,572 points. Classic A-Bomb with the freaking, third highest points in the league. And he's making his late run as he always does, it seems.
Mr. Boomer Bust. I think I might change his name now if he keeps it up.
Then at 6th place, dropping 2 spots out of the playoff race for right now, is Tank Top Mike at 7-5. We have the bottom 4 pretty concrete right here.
Yeah, that's not going to change now.
Yeah, this ain't going to change. It's FNG at 4-8, Dilly at 4-8, Goofy JZ. It's with a Z, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with a Z. Okay. Goofy Jay
No,
Z at 2-10, and then freaking Doctor Donkey over here in the freaking dipshit, freaking 1-11.
as long as it's alliteration, you can call them what you want. So that's fine. Dipshit works. Dumbass works. Uh, Dickhead. No, we won't go that far.
Oh,
So
we won't go that far.
we won't go that far.
But that's how
Yeah,
the
that
standings are, and we're getting down to the last two games of the season. Every point counts, every W counts, and every loss definitely counts.
yeah, Tank Top can't get into the bottom four. No, no, it's mathematically eliminated now. So I don't know. I haven't really talked to him. Maybe you have. I don't know if he's going to make a push and try to get into playoffs now,
Oh,
or
he's trying. He's
yeah,
gonna try
yeah,
to win every game.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, it's funny. I was in fourth place one other time this season, and I immediately went out and then dropped about two places down. So I'm like, I hope I could stay a little longer this time. It's kind of
This,
nice up here with you guys, but last time it didn't last very long. So yeah, one loss, and those two guys passed me right on by. If either one of the guys below me gets a win, so I pretty much have to win it out. So and I was talking to you in pre-show that almost I almost rather have, if I have to lose out, I'd like it to be Aaron, to see if he can do another boom game like that and take somebody down. So I'm
um,
sorry, A bomb. Yeah, I'm sorry. We don't call him by his God-given name much, do we?
no, legal name. That's his legal name. His
Yeah,
God-given name is A-bomb.
A bomb. Okay, all right. I got it backwards there, but yeah, yeah. So interesting. Just like every year, man, we're kind of bunched up there from six through four. Three
Yeah.
through three through three, 6 through 3, really. 3 through 6. It's
Oh
one
yeah, I'm
game,
100% in that bunch.
one game separating us all, and anything can happen with 2 weeks to go. So this is going to make for some fun times,
Well,
as
I hope
usual.
I have an easy matchup going into next week. Oh,
Yeah.
let's go to the matchups.
Well, you're not the Marky Mark matchup of the week,
Well, thank
but
fucking God.
you definitely have a big one that we'll get to here pretty soon. But the Marquee Mark matchup of the week, it's A-Bomb going up against Tank Top Mike.
Let's
This is the
go.
this is the first time this season that I didn't even have to look at the matchups to decide who was the Marky Mark matchup of the week. Yeah, I a lot of times go through and this could be. I didn't even look. I was like, it's got to be Mike and A-Bomb this week because look at where they are and look where we are and look what could happen. So
Well,
uh,
let's start this way, Marky Mark. I'm gonna name a guy, and you tell me if he's good at fantasy football. All right.
okay.
Josh Allen. Is he good
He
at fantasy football?
he was last week.
All right. All right.
Certainly was
Josh
last week.
Josh Jacobs. Is he good at fantasy football? I'm pretty
I
sure he's
I
good.
think I know where you're going here. You want to just get to the point,
Oh well, the
or you
point
want to
is that all
you
these
want to
players that I've named are on bye.
yeah, it's not a good week for A Bomb to need a win to stay in the playoff hunt. That's for sure.
Keep talking. I need to go.
Oh, got you something with the dog. All right, flying solo here for a momentito. Yeah, talking about the buys, man. Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs, and that would mean Devontae Adams too, right? Gabe
Yes,
Davis.
Devontae Adams is on bye.
That's a bunch of them out, man. That is a bunch of them out. We got Baker Mayfield starting in a one quarterback league. I think that's a desperation move. Did he just pick him up? No, he didn't just pick him up.
No,
He
he
had
just
him already. Yeah, I know he made a few pickups today, but and in the chat, I couldn't follow along with you guys all day. I remember in the chat he made some pickups and then he was talking about Mayfield. I wasn't sure if he picked up Mayfield, but he's got Tyler Algier as in the flex, so you know you're getting down to the bare bones when you got somebody like that in there.
I think
Josh Reynolds, Josh
it's gonna be
Reynolds.
rough.
Ooh,
This is gonna be rough. I
but
love every second of it.
But does anybody doubt that he knows how to set a lineup when the chips are down? So
I said in the chat that freaking Josh Reynolds is due for a 40-point game. Like,
yeah,
what if it's gonna
the
happen?
one
It's gonna happen soon, and it's gonna happen while he's on A Bomb's fucking team.
yeah the
Like, that's
one
the
the
only thing.
one time that he goes off, it'll be this game, right?
Yes,
You
like
wouldn't you
things
would
that are guaranteed in life.
you
Yes,
wouldn't figure on Algier doing much, but the Jets are so bad right now that Algier could get garbage time. He could be the garbage time guy that gets a touchdown, and they give Algier carries down at the inside the 20 pretty regularly. So it's
yeah.
not out of the question that Algier could overperform that. What's his projection? 4.97. On A bomb when A bomb starts him, that's going to be 15.97, right?
14.97.
Yeah, yeah, he'll
Add
definitely.
another 10.
And starting the Carolina defense, that's a ballsy one. They're not horrible, but it's just not a great team, and the defense has to be on the field a lot, and
So
that kind
in the
of kind of
chat,
hurts them.
you may not have seen, Abam said uh, Baker Mayfield's good for 4 touchdowns, 2 to his own people and 2 to the defense. So,
Yeah, yeah. Mayfield hadn't been that bad this year, but he is hobbled. He is nursing an ankle injury right now. I'm sure he'll get out there and play because he plays through stuff. If he for what say what you want about him, but he plays hurt and he tries to play through. So he's
well,
been
if he
he's
gets
been
hurt,
good.
Kyle Trask is the next man up in Tampa, and Abam's got Kyle Trask. So,
Yeah, if he was going to be out, but I
right.
think he'll end up playing. So
Yeah, he's had this ankle for like the last 4 weeks. So,
yeah. When we were going over scores, I was talking about Tank Top has a lot of guys that can go off. It's just that none of them really did last week. So you kind of figure that maybe some of these guys will be due for a rebound. His Washington guys aren't playing Dallas this week, so that's a plus right off the bat.
well, he's got 6 green matchups here on Sleeper, and you can really look at the matchups now that it's the end of the year. They have a pretty good tap on what the players are going to do against those teams.
Yeah, yeah,
Green
yeah,
matchups mean a lot now that we're closer to the end of the season.
right. Yeah, another Arizona game where your eyes get big. He's got Pickens in there, you know. Will they just run it down their throat again, though? Kind of have to hope that they do a little bit of passing to Pickens. I guess the good thing last week that they were looking Pickens' way, and he didn't have a bad game. It just wasn't. He didn't have one of those big plays, one of his big signature plays that makes your whole week.
Right. I know Silly Dilly's hoping that they run it down their throat so Jalen Warren comes back and freaking smashes for him, but we'll
Yeah,
see
and
what happens.
if that's the case, then Najee on A-Bomb's side is going to be the play against Arizona. So that game script is going to be big. So
Yes.
and it's in Pittsburgh. And I know I sound like a broken record when I talk about West teams coming east, but they tend to be a little groggy. And in Pittsburgh, if it's a little bit cold and then it could be another running game if they get out to a big lead. So hopefully Arizona can put up a little bit more because um, I got Arizona guys. I want to see them do all right. So
So this being the marquee matchup and having such heavy weight attached to it league wise, like for the playoff race, what have you, who do you think's gonna get the W this week?
I hate to make that call. I feel like with A bomb's buys and Mike's matchups that he's got, you'd lean that way towards Tank Top Mike, but you never count out A Bomb, man. I mean,
You can't count on it.
he's I just wonder if he's got the chicken foot in the the guy with the chicken foot in the bat. He got the chicken foot in the football, and got Josh Reynolds' name written on there. He's got Algier's name written on there. He's got Carolina defense written on there. He's just got that chicken foot, man. He's working that thing.
It
So
reminds me probably what you're talking about, the movie Major League.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, okay, all right. So what
Yeah,
I'm
exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. And you look at Taysom Hill. Olave might miss the game for concussion. He did have a limited practice. Most guys miss a game when they go out for concussion. His was a little bit more. Didn't he land on his head or something? I didn't see the
I
play.
did not see the
I
play
think I heard that
personally.
he landed awkwardly, so it could have been more of a stinger type of thing, which means he could get in there. But most of the time when a guy goes in concussion protocol, I'm counting him out for the next game, hoping for the best. And Shaheed is he it's looking like he might miss the game. So now all of a sudden Taysom Hill there in his tight end spot might be doing the Bugs Bunny against the Gas House Gorillas, where, where, where he's going to play, at tight end, Taysom Hill, at quarterback, Taysom Hill, at wide receiver, Taysom Hill, at running back, Taysom Hill. So we'll have to see what happens with
His
that.
stat
But
line is going to be absolutely bonkers.
yeah, yeah,
Running, rushing, and receiving.
it could be a big game for him. Although I would say that with Jawan Johnson back now, I think um, he's definitely solidified as their best tight end. I think even over Taysom Hill. So maybe that helps keep Taysom Hill down on for Tank Top's purposes. But we'll see. I think it's too tough to call. That's why it's the Marky Mark matchup. Even with the buys, you never count out what A-Bomb can do with these fringe, these roster bubble guys.
His pregame prep talk must be world renowned by now.
I mean, we've all seen him do some things, right? So we wouldn't be surprised if he pulls it out with those guys. All right, we'll move on to our next one. We got Silly Dilly going up against FNGs. These guys have the same record, but FNG is averaging a full 13 points more per game. Kind of shows you the tough luck he's had this year. Another matchup of the bottom four, maybe again another preview for the fight for the 101.
Yes, sir. Right now, Silly Dilly has two people on buy in his lineup, Zay Flowers and Jacoby Myers, two big players that he banks on week in, week out. So those are big buys too this late in the game.
All right, let's play set the roster. Who are we going to put in for Silly Dilly and
Ooh.
see if they're going to do much. I guess first one that jumps out to me is Robert Woods. Although he's been a lesser part of the offense, it is a high-powered offense, and he could do a little something.
Jalen Rager. Sorry,
Wow.
I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing. That's not
Well,
good.
you would hope that Noah Brown could get back in. I
Yeah, that
mean,
was my guess. And Noah Brown would probably be a play that I would look at.
poor dude, man, he was hitting his stride and and he's out. That's what happened with remember last year I was saying that Noah Brown was a big sleeper, and when he got his opportunity, he got hurt. And the same thing this year, got his opportunity, got hurt. So unfortunately, he can't stay on the field for him. Yeah, there's yeah,
Hunter
he's
Henry might be a play, and Tyler Higbee
yeah.
might be a play.
I looked at him. I think Higbee is a trap. I mean, I think Higbee had the game of his season last week, and to chase those points is probably not a smart idea.
Well, I mean,
Um,
it's not like he has. I'm not trying to talk shit, but there's no like
yeah,
clear other star over him. Like that's the thing. He's chasing points right now with these two buys. So
yeah, yeah. I guess yeah, either one of his tight ends, whether it's Jonnu Smith or Hunter Henry, might be good. Jonnu was doing good. Oh, his snaps were down. Yeah, no, Jonnu was doing really well, and he's kind of disappeared, hasn't he? So we won't talk about Jonnu. I don't know if he got hurt or something, or there's an injury,
it's
but
Atlanta. You never know.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, Henry might be a good guy to get in there, and maybe Robert Woods. I think, yeah, it's unfortunate that he's just got too many guys out this week, and not great plays on the bench, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, over on FNG side, of course, Robinson's coming on. He's got He's got Spears in there this week. He must have buys. Oh, I know. Kenneth Walker's hurt, probably not going to play. So I see he's got Tajay Spears in there. He had some moments earlier in the season, but it's been all about Henry here lately. So
Henry just waiting for the end of the season to be Henry like.
a lot of times when we talk about FNG, he hasn't set his lineup. It looks like he couldn't wait to get Arizona defense out of there. So whether he's got the lineup fully set or not, he's got Arizona out of there, and he
And
put
I
New
don't think
England.
the Patriots versus the Chargers is a good play either.
No, it's Carolina. It's Carolina.
No, the
Wait,
Patriots.
no, it is the Chargers. I'm sorry. I was
Chargers.
looking one. I was looking one line ahead at Godwin. Sorry about that, Chris Godwin. Yeah, no, against the Chargers. Yeah, I guess the only thing you can say there is that they're even Keenan Allen has got a new injury. He just popped up on the injury report today.
Oh God.
So even though they got Herbert, who in the hell is he throwing to now, man? It could be practice. It could be a practice squad guy or somebody to get off the couch. So, so
Well, if we know anything about Herbert, he'll sling it to anybody.
yeah. I definitely like FNG in this one. He's got pretty much a full complement except for having Kenneth Walker out with an injury right now.
Yeah.
But he's got and Cooper questionable. AJ Brown popped up on the injury report too with a thigh injury. So I think he'll end up playing. And Cooper probably play too, but maybe they're a little more limited. But he's got, Tank Dell, Stevenson. Oh, Tank Dell, questionable. Dang. He's got the all Q team. I'm scrolling down through and like Q, 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 Q. Yeah.
It is Wednesday. I mean, some
Yeah,
of
no,
those are just for
yeah,
maintenance
yeah,
issues, but
yeah, yeah. It's nothing to panic about on a Wednesday, but we'll see how it looks come Friday here. But all right, that should be that's an interesting one though. What I like about this league is that the guys down at the bottom four scrapping it out too. So there's always something to play for in this league. So just as interesting down there sometimes as it is up top. All right, we'll go on to our next matchup. We've got the Prince versus the DB. So
yeah.
2 losses in a row for the DBs, as I mentioned earlier. And I know you'd like to make it 3 to help secure a spot there in the playoffs. Let's talk about your matchup.
Well, if I have the absolute pleasure of making it 3, I will cry because I'm so fucking happy. But there's a lot of things not going my way. A, they have a very good team. B, Olave might be out because of that concussion, like you were saying. Thanks for
Yeah.
bringing it up. That's still really sore on my heart. And
Thanks
I got
for.
to play Cup. Cup has been absolute El Garbaggio. Uh,
Yeah. I don't
so,
think he's 100%. I
well,
don't think
what
he's.
what made you think that?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
3 points last week.
Yeah. Kind of
Well,
rushed himself back in there and not 100% maybe.
I mean, yeah, JJ was activated back to the 53-man roster, but it is their bye week. Fuck me, right? So I gotta.
Yeah.
I'm still rocking him. Like Kincaid is out, but like I need to beat the DBs. I need to have a perfect storm because I
Yeah.
mean the DBs are averaging 151 points this year. They're not easy to beat. Like the fact that Abom beat them twice this year is astounding. But when you see that he had to score 180 points to do it, you know what I mean? Like,
Right. I mentioned my 160 not being enough. So yeah, you did. The bar is high. They've had a couple of weeks where they were beatable, but still pulled out the wins. You kind of need one of those weeks where they're down a little bit and you're up a lot.
I will say this:
So
if it does happen that I beat the DBs, fuck yes, I just pretty much secured my way into the playoffs for the first time ever in this league.
yeah,
And B, like I got super fucking lucky. I'll be the first person to tell you, like, if I beat them this week of all weeks, like I don't have Olave. he's been a backbone of my team. And Couple would have to have a cup day, which he has not had in like the last 6-7 weeks. So like it would 100% be a lucky win for me if I got the W this week.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, that Burrow injury even hurt your Chase and your Mixon shares. And yeah, he's like we talked about, Cup has been hurting. Maybe Sutton will bounce back with a bigger game. Connor, man, I mean, I like the trade at the time to get a guy that looked like, he's going to get a lot of volume, but he has not been involved in the passing game as much. And that them bringing in Carter just seems like they don't want him to be involved in the passing game as much. So Arizona's got to hang in there for Connor to be relevant. And if they're playing from behind, I think Connor is out and Carter is in probably. So that's a big game for you, that Pittsburgh Arizona game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, they got everybody. I mean, Dak is red hot right now, and they're going up against Seattle. He's probably going to drop 30 points on us if everything stays the same, which means
Yeah,
is going to have a fucking heyday.
it's
Uh,
a Thursday night game, and so sometimes they come out a little bit flat, with that little bit of rest. So I guess that would be one hope for you. Yeah, Dak's been killing it. Seattle's not been great against quarterbacks and receivers, so matchup on paper looks good. I guess the one saving grace could be it's a Thursday night game, so
and
we'll have to see. It's in Dallas, so that's a good thing.
Taysom Hill's averaging 21 plus points a game, so you can't really bet on him having a bad day. He's only had 2 this year. And I have to very, very rarely do I root against my team. Usually it's Tampa Bay over everything, but it's the fucking playoff push, and I need Tampa Bay to have a fucking dog shit day. Just have one bad day.
Yeah. I mean, you're consistent because you said that when we were doing pre-show chat, and I was just like, dude, that's your team, and they still got a shot, outside chance to get
Yeah,
in.
that's how much I want to be in the playoffs this year. That is
Yeah,
how much I want to be in the playoffs.
yeah. I hope. I think the matchup for Chase against Jacksonville is a little better than it was against Pittsburgh. Chase was lucky to get that 10 points because two of the catches he had were tipped from the defender. And so with if those have been interceptions or passes defended, then he's coming with two catches for some crap. I mean,
Yeah.
he did well to get what he got there. But I think a better matchup this week. I see Devonta Smith popped up on the injury report with a knee. He was limited, and on their side, Tyreek
He had that
Hill.
last week too.
Yeah, and Tyreek did too. And I remember, watching the game live last week. He, limps from the sidelines over um, to his sideline, and it didn't look good. But then he was right back in there playing. I don't know if they just taped him up or something, and he was right back in there playing. So he's a pretty tough guy too. So he's gonna be in there if he can for sure. So
I mean, the projections speak sound in this. Like they're projected 129 points, and they have a couple guys on bye, and I'm starting Love and have a couple guys that I don't want to start, and I'm projected 103 points. So
yeah, yeah. You're right. It's going to have to be that perfect storm. So I would, and I certainly wouldn't bet on them losing three in the row. So good luck to you. Be pulling for you, but it is what it is at this point. I hate that saying, but that kind of
which
fits
is
right
just
here.
making our matchup next week
Yeah,
like
yeah,
even more of a thing.
yeah, yeah. Sure is. All right, we'll go on to our next matchup. We've got the Johnsons going up against Dr. Donkey and the Dumbass. So I need to stop this winning streak at one and help my playoff chances. But it won't be easy. Their roster's peaking here down the stretch. Like I said, I felt like it could, and it did last week, and I've got to hope it doesn't do the same this week. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think the projection at 95 points is very under what they're actually going to end up doing. I mean, they dropped 140 something on me. Not to say that they're going to do that again, but
155.
155. Sorry, I missed
Yeah.
that. My
I
bad.
didn't want to undercut them there.
Uh, they still would have won if they had 140. Just so we know. 95 points. I think they should be projected higher than that. I mean, Stroud is playing Denver. He is in fuego yet again and he has an
Yeah.
awesome matchup against Denver. He's gonna freaking go crazy on them.
If that was in Denver, I'd be a little more concerned, but it's at home for him. But Denver's been playing a lot better on defense. They actually, oddly enough, man, I mean, I'll give Coach Payton a lot of credit because it looked like it was going to be just a total shit show after that Miami loss. But man, he rallied the troops,
Yeah.
and the big thing this year is we're not hearing a lot of negative talk about Russell Wilson. And last year that every week everybody was just slamming Russell Wilson for one reason or another, and his
Oh, yeah.
teammates didn't like him. And that one where I think it was Melvin Gordon is glaring at him on the sideline. And they had one where a guy got pissed at him because he was saying it's Russell Wilson time, like he was going to
Or
go
the
in there
way
and
he comes out onto the field, they were having issues with. Like,
yeah.
Sean Payton
He
put the fucking kibosh to all that bullshit.
Yeah, I think I heard something earlier in the season where Wilson had like his own private office or something, and Peyton took that away. If that's true, it's good that he did because nobody is above any other player, and Peyton has done a good job of reeling that shit in this year, and I'll give him a lot of credit, man, because it looked like it was going to be like a one and done for Peyton, and those guys were just going to go into oblivion for a few years. But man, is he turning around. So that defense is playing a lot better. But they're better against the pass than they are on the run. So that's gonna be a big part of this one. I've got Singletary on my side going in the running game. They've got Stroud and Nico in the passing game. So I've got to hope that the numbers stay true and they run the ball more than they pass it. But Stroud definitely has been good this year for sure. And Nico, he's come a couple weeks removed from the injury and starting to bring it on again. So
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a fun matchup to watch, and I don't think it's as clear cut as the projections may make it seem.
no, on my side, I've got Brees Hall and Hollywood Brown both popped up on the injury report today, so that's something I got to monitor. The one that worries me the most is Brees Hall because it's a hamstring. I just there's I'd rather deal with just about anything than a hamstring because they
You're
may
speaking to
they may
me. I've dealt with two of them this year. Cup
yeah
had a hamstring, and JJ's
yeah
been out for fucking 8 weeks. Seems
yeah.
like.
And if they try to play through it, it's probably one of the easiest injuries to aggravate. And so that one definitely is concerning. And he didn't look good last week, and I don't know if maybe he had heard it and was trying to play through it last week. So that's a big one for me. Brown, I mean, um, the only thing about Brown, it's not that he's been great, but he finally had a good game in Kyler's third game back. So I was hoping that was a sign of things to come. He's dealing with a heel injury, and I think he'll play. So I'm not as concerned about that one. But you want to be going up these guys against these guys who just put together a big win, and now you got guys coming in hobbled, plus the buys. I've got several buys, so I don't have much to pivot to. I see you put the Santa hat on, but you can't see it in the. You got to raise it up higher on the head there. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Somehow it got smaller.
You look like uh you look like the guy who told Buddy that he wasn't a cotton-headed ninny muggins.
You're not a cocky headed.
What was his name? Ling Ling? He looked like
Yeah.
Ling Ling. If Ling Ling grew a beard, or did he have a beard? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, uh, they've got some tough matchups on their side. Kyron, who went off last week, is going up against Cleveland this week. We'll have to see if Garrett's doing okay. That could be a big factor in that one. But yeah, they got some. Jackson Smith and Jigma going up against Dallas. Um, so and they got Quentin Johnston in there who didn't have a good week last week. So
I've been riding the wave with QJ also, and that is not a good play. Let me tell you.
no, it's been yeah,
Much as I
yeah,
want it to be a good play, get out of
yeah,
there.
yeah. So yeah, I'll tell you, Thursday night I've got Cooks in there and I got the Dallas defense. I'm just hoping to get some cushion going early on in this one. They've got JSN going, so yeah, kind of hoping Thursday sets the tone. So we'll see here. I am not taking them lightly whatsoever.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm looking at this every day and looking and relooking and trying to see what I'm gonna move on to if somebody is out. So all right, let's get to our last one. Not as much to say about this one. We got Boo Crew going up against Goofy Jay-Z. Yeah, I mean, Goofy man, he's still suffering the injuries. He's in rebuild mode and he's going against the top team in the league. So it's it's this would definitely have to be a perfect storm too, I think. Do you see any way that Goofy may pull one out here?
uh, hope that Tyler Lockett has a 30-point game and Pat Fryermuth continues to have a freaking outstanding game, and the sun god just kind of drops off the face of the earth, and Keenan Allen actually doesn't play. Like, there has
Yeah.
to be a lot of things that have to go Goofy's way to get this W. If he does get this W, I will send him a thank you card and a little gift basket to his work. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pulling for you, Goofy. I'm just being realistic. Just like, I don't know. What do you see?
Not a whole lot on Goofy's side, unfortunately. He's got a Ty Chandler in there who's on bye, so he hasn't got his lineup set all the way. Um, don't know what he'd go to in that case here. Yeah, I mean it's good. We said Fryermuth was looking good. Maybe with the new coordinator, they're going to get him more involved and decent matchup there against Arizona. Um, Hurts, San Francisco. That's a tough one. I mean, a lot of his point total would come from Hurts, you would think, right? So
Yeah,
um, the good thing there is they're playing at home. If they were playing in San Francisco, I might be a little more concerned. But yeah, Hurts is going to have a big game
it's
for
still
him for
San
sure.
Francisco though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Even with them, that's a team coming from the West that they're definitely not your typical team coming from the West to the East. But that's man, that crowd in Philly is going to be
Well,
rabid.
we might hear them in North Carolina.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a big game, man. That's one I'm definitely looking forward to this week. He's got Dylan popped up on the injury report. Didn't practice, got a groin injury going on. He does have Patrick Taylor on his bench, so he could move on to him. But again, he's still got to get somebody in there for Ty Chandler, and I just don't see a lot of great.
Can
Mingo
you
maybe
start
is
two
a
defenses in this league?
what's that?
Can you start two defenses in this league?
Oh, right, right. Yeah, yeah, and he's got the Chiefs in there. It's probably the one to go with there at home against Green Bay. I think he's got the right defense in this week. Hope I don't jinx you. Knocking on wood, Goofy. And
I hope you're
but
jinxing him.
but yeah, Mingo could be a deep sleeper for him. Maybe Michael Carter get some passing down work, but yeah, gosh, poor guy, just with the injuries, man, and selling off a couple of guys to go into rebuild. Not a lot of choices for him.
Could you imagine if Goofy loses and unfortunately you lose too, and Doctor?
Unfortunately, you said you're pulling against me, and now you're saying
Oh, I
unfortunately.
100% am, but
Don't try to sugarcoat it.
well, fuck. When you lose to the freaking Doctor Donkey over here, and he's 2-11, and Jay Z's over here at 2-11, could we have seen something like that happening at the beginning of the year?
Well, let's go to the points, as you say. They're pretty close in points, huh? Goofy's got them by 22 points. So if they have another big one and Goofy has another little one, then could be
Very astute.
could be talking about a new cellar dweller by next week.
Fucking cellar dweller.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
Well, yeah,
that
you go,
is
man.
that is our preview for week 13. It is getting hairy up in this B. I'll tell you what, as the guy that's been in third place for a good portion of the season, I am sweating the small stuff. Very, very much am I sweating the small stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next show, you don't miss next week because next week is gonna be an absolute barn burner on both
Coming.
sides. The
Yeah.
preview and the review are gonna be both absolutely in fuego. So
Yeah. Coming down to the wire.
yes, sir.
Or as they say in
So,
Tennessee, coming down to the wire.
well, on that note, Ian, you suck.